everybody, it's Seriously Sydney here, and today we are doing the painting part of this piece. It was originally titled I Wonder Squirrel, however I changed the title to The Squirrel Wonders because that makes so much more sense. Anyway, so I decided for this video to kind of add some fun aspects to it because I was like watching this video and I go, it's kind of cool to watch, but unless you are trying to paint along or learn painting techniques specifically just by watching, it kind of gets boring. So I decided to spice it up a little bit with some random facts about squirrels. So apparently, squirrels are born blind. They are only 1 inch long when they are born. And there are over 280 different species of squirrel in the world, according to the internet, that is. Anyway, so for this painting I'm using the Petersburg Classic Watercolors. The colors I mainly use for the background, or I'll break this down even further. For the sky, I mainly use their iron, lazur, and turquoise, as well as a tiny hint of purple. For the mid-ground, I use their cad yellow deep, their, for the blue I use the iron lazur, or lazur makes more sense. Anyway, I use that, and a little bit of turquoise. For the foreground, I used a mixture of those colors plus some, I believe I used their dark red or pink for the foreground to tone it down and to darken the green mixture. And so for my process for this piece, I wanted to do it in layers, keeping a storybook, like a children's storybook illustration feel to it. So I didn't want to add too many details to like the foreground, the midground, and background. I wanted mostly the subjects to be in focus, but there to still be loose kind of aspects to the environment the subject's in. So to achieve that, I first wet the entire paper and tried to get a base tone for everything while the paper was still wet. And from there I kind of built it up after letting it dry. So right now I'm working on the foreground, and I'm trying to get it like a dark border that you're kind of peering over into this field where the squirrel is standing. The squirrel would be standing kind of on the edge, not way out in the field, but close to the foreground, but not the foreground, if that makes sense. And I tried to get the texture going. I think what I should have done is dry brushed the details in the foreground to help achieve that look I was going for. But anyway, I went back into the background with a slightly darker mixture of the background's colors to kind of give it a little bit of depth within the clouds and stuff. Then I decided I would add like some trees back on the horizon line, and then tried to give the field like flowers and stuff, but that didn't really work out. Like wildflowers and stuff, I tried to do that. Didn't really work. Yeah, so you see right here I was flicking yellow and red onto the piece, but it just didn't show up in the end. Yeah, so it just didn't work out. I had to blot it off because it kept going onto the squirrel and it just wasn't working. Anyway, so I move on to adding some depth to the squirrel because I just added the base tones. So to try and get the texture, I did not use very many granulating colors, which I should have, to get more of a texture to the fur. but what I did is I let the colors blend together in washes. So I would wet the part that I wanted the colors to blend together in, then I would kind of put the colors in next to each other and let them blend together so that I didn't fiddle with it too much. I really enjoyed doing the ears and the arms of the squirrel. Painting that part was my favorite by far. Yeah, that part of the arm is just so pretty. And then watching that part dry, it's just, the way it dried was pretty cool. I really liked the way that turned out. This tail was a little bit difficult to get all the colors into because I think I started off way too dark. And then for the eye, to get it dark, I used the dark tones from the kind of from the foreground, I guess, and from the acorn, and I like dotted that in, and then to blend it I used some of the lighter tones from the squirrel's body and just kind of tapped that in, and it just kind of blended really well. I really like the way the colors moved together. The darks did not fully take over the eye, which I'm very happy with. One part about right here, I was kind of moving on to the acorn, and I kept looking at the squirrel and going, it just looks too flat. There's a lot of movement in the wash, but not very much texture to it. So I start trying to build the texture up, then I kept blending the edges and blending the edges for some reason. And I guess it's probably out of habit, because I tend to do that with like faces and stuff. I blend the edges to make it really smooth, but that doesn't really work when you're trying to add texture. So I had to work on that for both the squirrel and for the acorn, because the acorn ended up looking way too smooth. So for starting about right here, I go, you know what, I'm going to add the darks, make sure it has some depth to it, so it's not all flat, and then I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to blend the edges. At least that's what I said. I think I kind of did blend the edges. And I did highlight the nose again I used pink on the nose to get it very bright. And you guys are pretty close to the end of the video, so if you've made it this far, and can you comment down in the comment section what should the special word be? How about edges, since I kept blending them out? So the special word will be edges for this video, and if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you guys end up making a piece based on this, or this inspired you, I'd love to see it, and you can tag me at Sydtheillustrator on Instagram, and I would love to see it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, have an amazing day, and don't forget to stay creative. See you next time.